When you're working class, you know how much your trips to the grocery store cost. You know what you buy, and you know the prices. And you know how much a tank of gas costs. You know this shit. So when you're buying these things on a bi-daily or weekly basis, okay, and those prices are going up, you will see it every day, and you will hate your life for it. And you will see it every day, and you will know that that is an issue that is f***ing you. The economy is something that is omnipresent in a working class person's life. Here's the problem that Democrats have. I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again, okay? I'm gonna be honest, and it hurts my soul so much. I never imagined a few years ago that I would say anything like this. The problem is, like, you have to think of the political efficacy of stuff. If I'm gonna be totally honest with you, and if I feel this, you have to think this. If I feel this, and I'm like a really chill person when it comes to this, then there are other people that feel this a million times more. Don't ever come back to my chat, you subhuman Neanderthal. Do you think Roe v. Wade will be overturned, which in my opinion would be good for the states' rights as abortion is not a federal law? Man, I don't know, dude. That's gonna be big stuff coming up. But we're going to need yeah, I don't know, that's a rough one. Because if Roe v. Wade is overturned, it seems unlikely that a future Supreme Court will bring it back, which means we're gonna need federal legislation on it, on abortion. No fucking shot. How rough, dude. As a non-American, what's that? Basically, the women's right to privacy for an abortion. The problem is that right now with the coronavirus, Americans just don't really care about social issues that much. And the problem is that some Democrats really want the Democratic Party to be fighting full stop on things like abortion. But the average American is not there right now. The average American doesn't care about women's right to have an abortion. They want to talk about the economy. That's like the number one issue for every minority group, for every subgroup in the United States. The economy is what people are focused on. So there's going to be a lot of clamoring for people that are very loud, but they're the minority that want this addressed because, so that's a rough one. I somewhat disagree. A lot of Democrats care a lot about abortion rights that could actually be a catalyzing issue if played right. I don't think so. I don't think the polling data, I don't think anything agrees with you there. Abortion could be a hot topic for a week or two, but the reality is like the economy is, dude, after the coronavirus shit, like the world is crazy right now. And like abortion is one of those things that you can get like very sad about when you hear the right story or if you see the right like news article or TV story about it. But like every single time you go to the store and like, if you're I don't know how many people this applies to because you're all middle class losers, okay? The middle class. When you're working class, you know how much your trips to the grocery store cost. You know what you buy, and you know the prices. You know these things, and you know how much a tank of gas costs. You know this shit. So when you're buying these things on a bi-daily or weekly basis, okay, and those prices are going up, that shit you will see it every day, and you will hate your life for it. And you will see it every day, and you will know that that is an issue that is f***ing you. The economy is something that is omnipresent in a working class person's life. Now, when you get out of that working class, you're middle class, right? Gas is more expensive. You don't really give a f*** that much. Groceries are more expensive. Who cares? You maybe DoorDash one less meal. It's whatever. But for working class people, that CPI, the Consumer Pricing Index, those goods going up in dollars is ultra on their mind. And those people will watch a million, raped, incested women give birth to, baby before they care about that issue more than, they can't afford gas or the right kinds of food or whatever. And and then to be clear, because everybody will quote me and say, Dustin doesn't care about women's rights. I care about social issues. I think they're really important. In fact, I've championed the Democratic Party a lot on social issues when lefties will castigate them or throw them under the bus. Like, oh, you only care about you want your military imperialism to have an LGBT flag, blah, blah, blah. No, I think LGBT issues are important. I think they're important. But right now, everybody is fixated on the economy. If the economy stabilizes and things get better, then social issues might become more important. But as long as things are the way they are now, but then again, it's hard to say, who knows where we'll be at in 6 months, I didn't care about or follow most of this when I was building my business and broke. Oh, true. Are there even things that Biden can do right now for the economy? Historically, presidents in the United States are always given credit for a great economy and are attacked for bad economies. The reality is presidents can't really do all for the economy. They can't. No, presidents just don't really have much they can do. When it comes to inflation or employment, you look to the Federal Reserve for this. Who the chairman is appointed by the president, but they don't answer to the president. The Federal Reserve does its own thing. That's a whole mystical, spooky, depending on if you're alt-right or crazy left, who controls that shit. But the Fed operates independently, more or less, from the government. And then the economy is the economy. We can talk about big legislation from Congress, but like the president himself, they can hurt the economy in some ways. I would argue that like the Trump tariffs were just bad. I mean, like you can do, but even that, like you're gonna have minor effects as the president over the economy. There's just not much you can do, What is your counter when people talk about Biden's dementia shit? If Biden has dementia, he's done a good job so far for having dementia. A president is like himself and his cabinet and, all the people in the executive heads working under him. So, yeah. Japan got a lot of women involved in the workforce and won significant support by phrasing women's empowerment as an economic issue. More bodies equals more production. So maybe abortion could be framed in a similar way. Not sure what the optics in America of not getting pregnant equals more participants in the economy would be, but it is an angle used elsewhere. Okay, here's the problem that Democrats have. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, okay? You need to make a Republican or a conservative friend because Democrats will get very righteous about some issues, but they don't understand the other purpose. You don't understand the other side of the issue. So you come off as sounding like an incredibly insincere or inconsiderate piece of shit when it comes to it. And the big thing here, one of the big things about the economy, we read an article about how a pollster was talking about this, okay? A lot of people in the United States are very resentful about Democrats being gung-ho about shutting down schools for a long time, okay? And again, no offense to you middle-class people, okay? Schools to middle class people are like, that's some shit you send your kid to, and now you have some freedom to like goof off, and who the fuck cares, okay? To a working class person, school unlocks a member of your household to return to the workforce. It is a free babysitter for your child for, anywhere from 6 to 10 hours a day, depending on if they're kindergarten or not. It is a source of food for your kid. School is an incredibly important thing for like working class people and their children. And to take that away for sometimes a year plus, I don't know how long the lockdowns last. Now we can argue that it had to happen, sure, okay? However, you have to be considerate of the people that were upset when that happens, okay? When you are fucking a household over that much, you have to be like, yeah, we are shutting down school, coronavirus is important, blah, 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 but we know that like, yeah, this is going to fuck you. And it seems like a lot of people felt like, a lot of Americans felt like the Democratic Party was not very understanding of the concerns that people the concerns people have when it came to shutting down schools. That's like a feeling that I think that a lot of independents and conservative Democrats, I guess, have when it comes to the Democratic Party, yeah. This was a huge issue in the Virginia governor elections. Sure. This is because the Democrats suck at messaging. Republicans always control the narrative. I don't know. There's a variety of reasons for it. Yeah. Given those problems you just mentioned, doesn't it seem impossible to win the next election? Right now, I believe that the overwhelming consensus is that I believe that most people think that, I think that most people believe that the next election is going to be very, very, very difficult for Democrats. Like, as it stands right now, I don't think it looks very good for Democrats. So, midterm or general, anybody that's pretending like they can make general predictions at this point are brain dead. Dude, our landscape changes so much every 2 months, it's hard to say. But midterms right now look pretty shaky. I'm not American, so I'm genuinely curious. Do many places have an issue with not enough daycare? In both countries I do political work for, it's a pretty huge issue, so I'm curious if America has the we need more daycares frenzy. Daycare is very, 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 very expensive in the United States. I think oftentimes one of the big decisions that a working class mother will have to make is, if I go and work a job right now, am I going to earn more money at that job than what I'm going to spend putting my child in daycare? It's like it's a huge question. That's why like so many women get removed from the workforce when economic times get tough, is because a woman has to stay home and watch the kids. In terms of gender roles, I mean that's typically how it works. It's a really expensive cost. Do you have any opinion on the Biden Putin banter that's happening in Ukraine right now? Nope. Do you think Biden will carry out student loan forgiveness / cancel? I have no idea. I don't know if that's an important issue right now or not. I'm not sure. Would you consider this joke actually anti-vax? And should comedians get shit for joking about pharmaceutical companies? Oh, because Trevor Noah has kind of jumped on the weird anti...
On the one...
I'm gonna be honest, and it actually hurts my soul so much. I never imagined a few years ago that I would say anything like this. I hope that they make more like brutal vaccines where it's like you take it and it's actually a rough one, but you get like way more immunity, I guess. And then you just say, if you want it, you get it, but otherwise, fuck it. I think pushing vaccines at this point is a loser. I think that it's everybody that wants one is going to get one and you're done. But like, I don't think, I think that at this point, I think we have to move past the vaccine thing, because there's a huge number of people in the US that are just going to be immovable on vaccines now. And for whatever reason, we lost that battle somehow. I don't fucking know how that's even possible. It's actually fucking so embarrassing to say. But yeah, they've been proven to be ineffective. It's a losing battle. You are absolutely fucking wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Don't ever come back to my chat, you subhuman Neanderthal. But yeah, if you want, I mean, I got my booster. Hopefully it's good enough. You know, do what you want. But I think at this point, I think
watching
that
you while playing League.
I think that pushing.
Makes me fall asleep.
I think that
I wake up.
Cool.
I am subbed.
Nice.
WTF.
Okay, good job. I think that pushing vaccines as a political issue at this point is it's a loser of a thing. People are already like exhausted from how much we pushed it before, and then now the idea that you need like booster shots and everything, it's just it's too much political capital, I think, to expend on like pushing boosters. Yeah. He said Dems shouldn't lie to the public as it provides ammunition for for Republicans in the future. What would it take to change your mind on this? Nothing. Do you think the percentage of the population that's, do you know the percentage of the population that's vaxxed with 2 shots? For eligible population in the United States, man, I haven't checked the numbers in a while. If I had to guess, I would hope that it's past 75% for eligible. I would hope. Vaccine rates US. It says right now we're at 60% of the whole population, but I don't know how many of that, what percentage of that is the eligible population. Because like children aren't getting vaccinated. Oh, so fully vaccinated from 18 and up is at 71%. It is what it is. Like, that's probably what, I don't, pushing it past this point is probably just whatever. It's a waste of time. For 18 and up is 83% for at least 1 dose, I guess. Yeah. Do you think we should move away from lockdown / COVID restriction strategies at this point? Curious to know your perspective. I don't know, maybe, probably. The problem is, like, you have to think of the political efficacy of stuff. Like, I don't mind doing stuff because I like to pretend at least I have some epidemiological perspective on disease and stuff. But if I'm going to be totally honest with you, and if I feel this, you have to think this. If I feel this and I'm like a really chill person when it comes to this, then there are other people that feel this a million times more. If I'm going to be totally honest, I'm curious how Australians feel. It didn't really feel great being in Washington, being in Seattle, and that I would have to show my passport and my vaccine card to go into like every single area. That felt like kind of shitty. It was just kind of annoying. And you're wearing masks everywhere and everything still too. Like, I just got my booster shot. I'm double vaxxed and I have my booster shot and I still have to wear a mask and I have to show a card and everything to get in everywhere. Maybe some people are just used to it and they don't give a fuck. Maybe it's different for me because I'm not used to it because I live in California, even when we don't do that. But like, yeah, I don't know. That was kind of irritating. I'll tell you how Aussies feel. Nobody really cares. Showing that shit. Have a suit. Yeah, maybe nobody cares in countries where you do it all the time. Where maybe if you're more conditioned to it, maybe you don't care as much. But what did you have to do that at? Apparently in Seattle, King County? Apparently you have to show proof of vaccine and you have to mask in every public area, I think. It feels kind of weird to just throw your hands up and do nothing as well, though, especially with cases. I think you kind of have to. It's just flat out a super depressing energy having all the fucking masks around too. Yeah. One thing also though, and maybe it depends
He's talking
too,
to me and only me
is
can.
because I've traveled to different areas and I've seen what it's like in different areas. Maybe I get a different feeling from it. Like maybe if you live in places where they do it all the time, maybe it doesn't matter. But like the difference between going from like Sweden during like the arguably the height or big parts of the pandemic, and then coming back to California, it's like, oh, geez. Because in Sweden, they really didn't give a fuck anywhere about like the masking shit at all. And then coming back here, it's like, oh, that's kind of annoying. I mean, like, again, I don't really care that much because I'll do whatever. But I could see other people getting more irritated with shit. Was it at specific places that you had to show proof of vaccine? Mask mandates are for sure a thing, but I've done all my normal shit without showing my card. In Seattle, and every big place, in the hotel we had to, and I think in most of the restaurants we had to. I think it was even on stream. In the one place we went to with Mel and Mel, we had to show a vaccine card to get in there. In the Italian place I met Melina in, I had to show a vaccine card. The guy came to the table and he was like, can I see your proof of vaccination? Yeah. Seattleite here. The big meme that's pushed is businesses hope that the proof of vaccine meme is to make people more comfortable with going to public places. I don't know if that maps onto reality though. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The vaccine issues is the best way to demonstrate to the left that sometimes your only choice is to coexist with people you find disgusting.
Yeah, but the problem is the saddest thing, and I hope that we're not on like a course to this, like the saddest thing is the possibility that like a 98% compliance rate with vaccinations would have actually maybe eliminated the coronavirus. Maybe that's possible. Maybe a 98% compliance combined with like social distancing and masking for a few months actually gets rid of SARS-CoV-2. But instead, like 3 or 4 years from now, we actually start getting a variant that's more infectious, but starts to carry a higher risk of either serious side effect or fatality. And we're all just kind of like pointing fingers at each other like, oh, wow, like this really sucks now. And it's like, yeah, well, you know, it's too late at this point. Now we all, you know, some of us die. Maybe Spanish flu type situation, like people, you know, maybe it's something that ends up fucking with young people. Maybe it develops in a way where you get that... it's ADE, acquired, what's it called? It has to do with when your immune system, antibody dependent enhancement. Is that what I'm thinking of? ADE. Basically, it's weird, but antibodies are created and they bind to protein sites on viruses that essentially make the viruses worthless for a variety of reasons. Like they can't get to cells or whatever because now the antibodies have clogged up all their pores and they're, you know, they get blackheads and they're fucked. But some viruses can develop in unique ways where antibodies will bind to sites, but it doesn't actually do anything. And the viruses will actually be enhanced. They're even more effective now because your body thinks it's producing antibodies to combat the viruses, but it's not doing the job. It's not actually doing it. And now you're ultra fucked, you know? Where do you pull this shit from? You just look up ADE virus. I mean, this is like a well-documented thing. I say it's rare that something like would develop like this, but like
because I'm putting 100%.
The problem is that I think we're in pretty uncharted waters in terms of. Are you talking about antibiotic resistance? No, I'm talking about antibody dependent enhancement. It's a markedly different thing. The thing is that we're kind of like in uncharted territory, I think, when it comes to this virus.
Keep it up, brother, man.
It's so infectious and so many people are working as like little incubators to try to like tweak it and modify it and change it and make it stronger, right? Every time you get infected, that's more or less what's happening. Yeah, I don't know. But to be fair, we already commonly catch other coronaviruses that cause the cold. It's more likely SARS-CoV-2 becomes one of them as well. Maybe, but like colds aren't that big of a deal, man. Like I don't think if you get a cold, it's not like coronavirus sucks. Like look at fucking Koibu, who's been out for like a week and he was vaccinated and he's been out for like a week, right? Not doing shows and shit, you know? This virus sucks. The thing is we don't know how bad it is because we've been locked down and shit for so long. People assume that like, oh, well, it's not that bad. You're like, oh, like only 1 million people have died in the US. Like it's not that bad. Like it's like, yeah, okay, it's not that bad. But like this is why we've been locked down. This is why we've been pushing vaccines harder than we ever have in the history of mankind. This is why we're all wearing fucking masks. This is why we've all been like, you know, standing away from each other. This is why a lot of the economy's been shut down. Like, yeah, that with all of that in place, only like maybe 1 million people have died in the past couple years, you know? Sorry, Common Cure said, the fact that this is America means you're going to get a substantial group of people resisting any kind of government-sponsored initiative. True. People say it's like the flu. I've never had the flu. The flu fucking sucks. Yeah. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, I want to dispel this real quick, okay? A lot of people say that they have the flu, okay? If you get sick for a day or two and you feel kind of like sick to your stomach and you throw up a couple times, you have a runny nose, you didn't have the flu, motherfucker. You had some dumbass fucking cold, all right? If you had the flu, all right, if you've truly had the flu is not a fun experience. The flu is not like, oh yeah, you know, Friday night I had a headache and then on Saturday I threw up like 2 times. And then by Sunday I was still feeling pretty crummy. The flu is like on Monday I had like kind of the chills and my body was achy. And then on Tuesday I'm like bedridden and I'm throwing up and I have a fever and my whole body hurts and it lasts like that for days. Okay, the flu sucks. I hate it when I hear, but I mean, I blame like common parlance because people will call every type of cold like, oh yeah, I think I had a short flu. I think I had a flu for like a day or two, you know? Like, no, you didn't have a flu. You had a fucking cold, motherfucker, okay? The flu sucks. Did you hear about the deer getting COVID? No. Nope, didn't hear about it, don't care. Oh, actual deer, not Twitter people. Oh, I've heard about that, but I don't know what that means or what the implication is for that. If like the deer can transfer it back, whatever. Should there be another round of stimulus checks? Probably not. The economy is like ultra overheated at the moment, meaning that it seems like we have a lot of money that is going towards driving up the cost of a lot of fucking goods right now. Probably not a good meme to pump more of that in.
Do you think people in gyms should be sanitizing their equipment?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm mixed on it. I always sanitize when I leave, but then I notice that some people sanitize before they sit down, so I don't know. I mean, I do when I leave because that's like the etiquette, but wait, I don't know if this is a popular or an unpopular take. I sanitize like things that you sit on or things that your like legs or body goes against. I never sanitize bars. That's weird. Fuck that. I don't care about that shit. Like, I feel like your hands are touching everything anyway. Like, that's weird. Fuck that shit. I don't do that. People that like are spraying down like barbells and shit, or like spraying that, like, fuck that. I don't have time for that shit. But if you're like sitting on like a bench, you wipe down the whole bench, or if you're sitting on like whatever, you do that. But like, yeah, your hands are literally the dirtiest part of your body. Yeah, but I mean, like, your hands are like touching anything and everything anyway. And it's also like, nobody is truly, here's what people do when they sanitize the bar, okay? They spray the thing and then they do this. They go like, what? You might as well not do anything. Like, that's a waste of time. If you're worried about touching a barbell and your hands getting dirty, go to the bathroom and wash your fucking hands. The idea that you would trust like other people, like, is such a waste of time. Just leave, okay? Not true at all. Absolutely, okay? Show me a video of you guys like sanitizing a bar on anything. It's like, you're like, and you can't even do it that hard because the knurling will fucking eat up the paper towel or whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay? What am I supposed to, yeah, jerk off the bar? Yeah, like, okay, hold on. Yeah, we're gonna really clean that, yeah.
The most shocking thing is Chomsky fucking survived through this whole pandemic so far, outliving so many people.
True.
Shut the fuck up, Moon.
Well, and George R.R. Martin as well is still alive, I think, right? Whatever happened to the many-faced god? Good, stop. What did happen to that guy? You ever notice in a Game of Thrones, there's only really one god that did shit? If I was in Game of Thrones, I would only worship the Lord of Light, because the Lord of Light fucking resurrected motherfuckers. Was there any other god that did any shit at all in the entirety of that fucking show? The Lord of Light was so OP compared to every other god in Game of Thrones.